coming. Coach Haynes is joined today by junior quarterback Colin Reed. Coach?
Again, coming off of a good win against Miami, homecoming, all the festivities that go along with it. It was good for our team to get a win. Again, first MAC game, and like I said, all the homecoming festivities that went along with it. So a lot of good things that happened. Again, getting up helped us. Miami, I give them credit for fighting back and not playing a 60-minute game, but I give our guys credit, also for doing the same. So proud of our team and our staff for coming up with another good plan to give ourselves a chance to, compete and win, and the guys went out there and executed for the most part. So again, it doesn't get any easier for us. We go to Toledo, very tough, football team that's playing at a high level. They got a lot of weapons all over the place. They have a defensive coordinator that knows us and knows Kent State, and he's doing a really good job with those guys of playing solid defense. So, but our guys will prepare, work hard, and do a good job of getting ready to go on Toledo.
You picture Toledo, at least in my head, you picture offense, and it's kind of a different Toledo team this year in that their defenses seem to be kind of guiding them or leading them at this point.
Yeah, and I don't know the numbers, yet. I just kind of watched them offensively this morning, but again, that's why Matt's done a good job of hiring John Haycock to come in and make them I guess a better defense. And John is a stickler. He's a fundamental. It's all about fundamentals and technique, and he demands it, and that's what he's getting out of them, and they're playing solid defense.
Your defense continues to play at a high level as well. Tell me a little bit about the progression of the secondary, and you've talked about it each week and as it's gotten better.
Really the good thing about it is you plug a couple other guys in there, of course, with Najee and Nate being out, and Quan went in there and did a really good job for us, and Nick Cuthbert did a really good job for us. So there's a lot of guys that you can play and plug in a lot of different spots that, and also Darius Redmond came back in and rotated at our Apache position in the second half also too. So a lot of guys that you can rotate through there. Guys are preparing like crazy. They're in there watching film all the time, and, it's showing on the film.
Coach, this is a Toledo team, coming in ranked 24th by the AP poll, which is kind of rare for a MAC school. In your mind, is this the toughest test you guys have faced so far, or will it be?
Yeah, I think, again, the ranking really doesn't matter. I mean, but as far as you watch them on tape, and the talent that they have, and all that, and the program that they have and been having, it's especially there. You got to go on the road. So again, it's good for Toledo. It's good for this league to have someone ranked and notice the body of work that this league, has done. So, but again, they've done a really good job of recruiting and getting quality kids there, and it's showing, on tape for them.
They've really been able to sustain success in the MAC for probably longer than anyone, I would say. When you look at that program, I don't know how well you know it, but what do you kind of look at there as far as the key to them being good for so long?
You know what? I don't know it, and it's hard for me to speak on it, because I can speak on the places that I've coached at. I can speak on the places, but it's hard for me to sit there and answer that one, because I've never coached there. I've never been there.
Colin, how much of Antoine's kind of emergence has helped you in your progression? Just the fact that it looked like you were targeting him a number of times on Saturday.
Yeah, he's, I think it was his first 4 touches, and he had 3 touchdowns. Just started kind of getting him the ball a little bit more. And I wasn't necessarily looking for him. It was just the guy that was open. He does a great job of, running his route, knowing his assignments, and, getting open. And he's really athletic, knows how to go and get the ball, and knows what to do when he has the ball in his hands after the catch or the run or whatever it may be. And I think it really helps having him and having that speed out there. because you start throwing to them, they're going to have to take some guys out of the box and take some guys out of the box, and it's going to open up running game. And that's against any opponent. So he's really helped, and I think he's starting to gain more confidence, and he's really learning more and understanding the offense a lot better.
With having a threat like that, along with the success you guys have had in the running game, has that helped you become more comfortable too?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of stuff is still just guys learning a little bit and, getting more confident in their role and knowing their job better. So as a whole unit, offensively, I feel like we're all becoming a lot more confident in each other and individually as well.
Coach, sorry.
Go ahead.
Coach, Ty mentioned the running game. I feel bad because it seems like we ask this question every week. Is there any update on Nick Holly's status for this game?
No. He's probably not going to play.
Just real quick on him, would he qualify for a medical red shirt if he didn't come back?
That I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of components that goes into it. If we get to that point, we'll look into it, and talk to him and see if that's what he wants to do. But there's a whole lot of dots that go along with doing that I don't know exactly what they are. But it's something that we can look into in the future if it keeps going that way.
Colin, coach has talked a lot about establishing a short passing game and letting the guys run after the catch. Was that really kind of the game plan going in Saturday, or did that really have to do with the weather?
Kind of a little bit. Didn't really have anything to do with the weather. It was just kind of what Miami was giving us, and a couple things were working, so we kept doing them over and over. And our guys that we have, our personnel is very athletic and is very good with the ball in their hands. So get it to them as quick as possible and let them do the rest.
Can you just kind of talk about your year so far, how you feel about how you played up to this point?
I feel like I've played decently throughout my career so far, but there's so much that I can learn still and so much that I can improve on, and it's kind of one thing that I need to work on, I kind of fix, and something else comes up. So just working on improvement. That's any player in any position. There's always things you can get better on. You just got to focus on what the next job is, what the next task is, and just keep working and control what you can control.
Do you feel like you obviously got a new offensive coordinator this year? Do you feel like that's kind of that progression's coming along as far as learning the system and what you guys are trying to do and that type of thing?
Yeah, and it's different from how Coach Rock was, how Coach Treadwell is, and it's learning how he coaches still, and he's still learning, us in the quarterback room a little bit more, and each day, building that relationship more and more, and it's nice and it's starting to all come together. And like I said, just learning how it is and how he critiques things that we need to work on as an offensive unit and as individual players. And yeah, there's a lot of things that he really harps on that, Coach Rock never did. And there's things that he doesn't really harp on that Coach Rock did. So it's just, there's two different worlds, but it was nice, seeing two different sides of it and learning from a different angle and, progressing your skills from those two different viewpoints.
Do you kind of feel like it's one of them deals where you haven't really hit it all together yet? Kind of your best football kind of still to come type of thing?
I feel like at any sport, in any position, there's always more that you can do. So I feel that I can do a lot more and be more consistent on the field. And I would like to, reach that potential, and just like any other player would. So I just got to keep working, and hopefully soon it'll all come together.
Coach, in that Miami comeback at the end of the game Saturday, can you just tell me what you think happened defensively? Whereas for a lot of the game, it was all Kent State defense.
Mm-hmm. They made some plays. They went to a couple, formations. They're empty formation, and anytime you go empty, you're a lot of times one-on-one, and they threw to a couple guys that they normally didn't because we were going to take away, his main threats, and those guys did a really good job of catching the football, over our guys. But again, commend our guys for a bend but don't break, type of mentality, and we made the play at the end to seal it.
You think you guys might have gotten a little bit complacent toward the end there when you were up 20-0?
I wouldn't say complacent. dominated them, I think, for 3/4 of the game, and again, they just made plays. You know, our guys were there. It wasn't like it was bust. You know, I think when you get complacent, you see that is when you have major bust, you know, in coverages. We had guys on them. They just went up and, you know, made plays.
You have any issues, and this wouldn't be a bad issue if I'm you, but, you know, McCray, for example, has played a fair amount. When he comes in and makes that huge play, he's already pretty solid at safety. But you kind of think, well, I got to get this guy in there, but who do I take out? It seems like a lot of the guys that you put in, like you've said all along, have played well. So kind of a difficult but nice problem to have.
Yeah, it is. It is a nice problem to have. And you know, I think a couple weeks ago we talked about the D-line, the guys that we're shuffling in there. And I think it gives us the ability to play guys less and play better, you know, instead of playing 80 snaps, you know, or whatever, 85 snaps. We have the ability to put some other guys in there to spell the guys that once the game gets online in the fourth quarter and that they're fresher. So, you know, it's stuff that we can look at, and like you said, it's a good problem to have at the safety position, the linebacker position, and really our D-line that we can do, you know, at this point in time. And you know how injuries come about, you know, all the time, but at this point in time, you got a lot of guys who you feel comfortable enough to put in the game. A lot of times you're kind of you don't feel real comfortable at putting them in, but these guys have gone in. But it still goes back to, and I know I say it a bunch, but I'm telling you, if you guys come around during the daytime and see these guys preparing, I still think it goes back to our guys preparing and being around guys who they're learning how to prepare. So they're in there, right, squeezed in our offices, watching film all together, and he's learning from Jordan. He's learning from Nate. He's learning from Cuthbert just on how to prepare, and it's paying off for him.
Touch on that a little, Colin, about ever since Coach Haynes came in, he's been really preaching the preparation thing and just how that's kind of evolved from your perspective.
It obviously is key because you don't want to not watch the other team that you're going to play and not know what they're doing. So every second that you watch, you might pick up on one little, you know, technique that one certain player uses that might exploit a weakness that he does. And it works offensively and defensively. So as much as you can watch and, you know, really focus on different things, it really helps. And as time has gone on, with Coach Haynes being here, it really has started to change. More people are, you know, understanding that and utilizing that tool, you know, watching film and preparing or learning from guys. So if they don't get as many reps or just don't have as much time to come in to watch, they're learning from the older guys that know how to do it and know how to manage the time to, you know, manage football class and football again. And I think it's, you know, an exciting thing to see people learning at such, you know, a faster rate now. Some of the younger kids that are really excited to come in and watch, or, you know, that are excited to ask questions at practice and are like learning from the older guys or the veterans.
Speaking of learning from older guys, you guys had Julian Edelman come to the team hotel Friday night. You know, what did he tell the guys?
You know, he really talked about the, you know, Belichick and Belichick's, you know, 4 rules of success is what he talked to them mostly about. And, you know, anytime you can get past players back, guys who have been in those seats, who have wore the blue and gold, to talk to them about. Really, I always like to get them back to talk about the pride and the passion of the place, you know. And you know, there's a lot of, you know, not very good records, you know, here in the past and all that, but there's still a lot of guys with a lot of pride and passion about putting on that uniform. And that's really what I like for these guys to hear, regardless of whatever the history was. I mean, these guys bleed blue and gold, and they bleed Kent State, and they watch it. You know, first thing they're looking at, if they can't be here, is the score. And it's the same way I was when I wasn't here. You know, no matter what, it was the first thing that I looked at, you know, either Saturday night or Sunday at other places I've been, was a Kent State score, because everybody has a lot of pride. You put on that uniform, you got a lot of pride in it.
Have you had a chance to check Toledo out on either side of the ball at this point?
I've watched them again offensively, and again they've got weapons all over the place, and they spread you out so much, and that's why their run game is so well, because they spread you out so much, and if you sit there and you load the box, they do a very good job of getting it to the guys out on the outside who can do some things. So again, as you watch them on tape, they're very dangerous all over the place, and that's what they've caused a bunch of people a lot of problems with. So it's going to be a big challenge, for our defense to you almost got to pick your, choose your poison a lot of the times on what you want to do, because if you single them up out there on the edges, man, they got guys, and if you don't load the box, they're going to hurt you in the run. So, our coaches are doing a good job. We'll come up with a good game plan that our guys can execute, and it really comes back to, again, our guys on what we can do well and what we can't do, and then we'll sit there and execute it.
You go into this game like a little different approach in that, obviously it's at Toledo. It's not a game where you look and, it's kind of a bonus game, I guess you could kind of say. If you win it, if you don't win it, you just kind of move on, or is this just another same approach, another opponent in the league, and you go forward?
Oh, it's a MAC opponent. It's a game that, you sit there and you talk about what the goals that you want, for the year, and for you to accomplish those, you got to beat MAC opponents, So, again, we'll approach it the same. It's a road contest in a hostile environment against a very good opponent, but it still comes down to what we do, today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to determine the outcome. So that approach will always be the same. For us, we're going to approach that the same and put our body of work into it. And, it's no more pressure. There's not a lot more pressure, on it than any other week, than any other road contest. It's just, again, a road contest against a very good football team. We've been there, done that.
Coach, in reading this, it looks like Toledo's line hasn't given up a sack all season. What are you going to have to do to dial up some pressure early?
You know what? They get rid of the ball, really fast, so it's hard to get pressure on them. And so again, it goes back to, do you try to get it, a lot of pressure and single your guys up on the ends, or do you play coverage? So those are the things, again, that is the hard part with defending a team that has talent all over the place. So, like I said, we'll come up with the best game plan that our guys can execute, and we'll give it a shot, see what happens, But they have so many weapons, it's hard to take away all of it. Our guys are going to have to play. They're playing at a high level. Our guys are going to have to play at a high level.
What do you see with their defense?
They're, up front, they're big, and being big, they're not just like run stoppers. They can move pretty well, very fast, very athletic. A bunch that I've seen so far, and with Coach Haycock and me being here with him for a year, not necessarily coaching me up, since he's defensive coach, but being on the headset my freshman year, you don't want to mess up for him. They're going to be very fundamentally sound, and he's a very, very passionate coach, and the defense wants to play for him. I know just from being here and experiencing that. So far, it's about all I've seen is they're big up front, fast, athletic, very fundamentally sound, and they flow hard to the ball. They're a good defense.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.